Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
We're, 2 days away from the new league campaign. How ready are you as a side going into that game against Colchester?
Yeah, we think we had a meeting this morning. We've had a real positive pre-season, both on the training ground and the games we've played, got a lot out of it. Again, we're fortunate tomorrow, as we were last Saturday, to go into the game with almost a fully fit squad. Young Connor Shanks got a knock the other night, so he's unavailable. But other than that, we're fully fit squad, ready to go. Naturally, Levi misses out again with his suspension, which carries on. But no, you always feel prepared. Obviously, we'll see what happens when the game kicks off. But no, we've had a really good positive week since last Saturday's victory at Bolton. Carried on with the good performance at Doncaster. Another good training session today, and really looking forward to the game naturally.
How bad, firstly, is the knock on Connor Shanks?
Well, he got a knock. Obviously, you saw the game the other night, and then he carried on. It was a little bit sore. Sent for an X-ray yesterday, and everything's all clear. So just a few days for him. A little bit of soreness, but as a kid making his debut, he just wanted to stay on as long as he could. So nothing too serious, which is good.
In terms of team selection, how close and how similar will it be in terms of players and shape to the win at Bolton?
Well, if you think I'm just going to tell you and you can send it to Colchester United manager that my team is going to be and my shape is going to be, you are severely wrong. But no, we played a different shape last Saturday at Bolton. We had a different shape we were going to play on Tuesday night against Doncaster, but changed it at the last minute to another one. So the lads will have no doubts how we want to go once we go through the team and the formation tomorrow. But as we've mentioned today, even in the same formation, it can be different personnel. We can maybe play it a different way, or likewise we can play different formations. So we'll always have a little look at the opposition and where we can hurt them the most and where we can get the better out of the game. We knew last week it was almost a match-up with Bolton, like for like, as was almost the other night against Doncaster. So it'll be horses for courses, always has been with us, but we've worked on a couple of formations throughout pre-season, and we're ready to go in whatever way we may shape up.
I suppose the follow-up to that is with the younger players being used on Tuesday, whether or not any of those have staked a claim and pushed themselves into your thinking for the squad on Saturday.
Yeah, good question. Well, they're always in the thoughts, but as I would say, not only the young players the other night or since we came back, all the other lads have stepped up. The ones that we've not seen a lot of prior. As I said before, the lads that were on loan last season, Jackson Longridge, Tyler French, Sam Hornby, have come in and all worked well in training. And the other lads that missed out the other night, who didn't start in the game on Bolton, came in and did a good job as well. So we've got a healthy competition at this moment. And the young lads are pushing everyone for a stake to be in the squad.
Just in terms of that game more generally on Saturday, I realise it's going to be a game without fans at Valley Parade, but how nice is it in, I suppose, gradual steps to have professional football back out at the ground?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, we've had 2 trials there with the friendlies that we've had against Wigan and Doncaster, and both from a non-perspective, football perspective, went well. Little differences. Naturally, we can only get 12 or 14 in the home dressing room, so the other subs have got to change where the staff used to get changed. I think we are in the laundry room now. So, but yeah, there's little differences naturally. But the fact that we're having to be able to go out and play is great. Obviously, the next step is to get limited crowds in, and then the dream, hopefully that won't be too far down the road, will be to get Valley Parade rocking again with over 10, 15,000. But at the moment it is what it is, and I think every one of us is just looking forward to getting out there at Valley Parade and putting in a strong performance.
I suppose this might not be a question for yourself, Stuart, but with everything that's happened in the last 24, 48 hours that we've seen from the government and DCMS and the like, and there's concerns now that early to mid-October date that they've set out of fans being welcomed back into grounds could be pushed back. I mean, how aware are you as a club, as a manager, of that situation?
Yeah, no, we had a word with our lads again this morning. I went in the meeting room, which is a canteen, but meeting room, and they're still socially distanced. We've got to be mindful of that, even though we're back playing now, and so we've got a responsibility to ourselves in our bubble, if you like, and then when they go away from the football club, to adhere to the rules. I think it's pretty simple, but what the government is now asking, I know there's complexities about how many people can go in each houses, etc, etc, but just follow the rules. If you're in an area, wear a mask, keep your social distances, wash your hands. I think we all should be regulars in that now. I'm not one for raves, so I won't get caught up mixing in more than 6 people right enough, and I haven't probably got that many friends that I'll need to be in a company of more than 6. But I think if you just stick to the rules, stick to the guidelines, but I know that obviously the racing from Doncaster got curtailed, didn't it, after just one day, and rightly so, I think. If indications are there that things are spiking, then we've got to stay on top of things. So slightly disappointing, but if things are done right, I think we'll still have, hopefully we'll have fans back in the stadium soon.
Yeah, certainly, fingers crossed on that. Just on the league campaign itself, you said that you've met ahead of the game at Colchester. No doubt you'll have spoken about the league more generally and the ambitions and targets that you have this season. Is the playoffs a must for you?
No, not at all. Our ambition is to be competitive in every game. It's a short-term ambition at this moment in time. Our ambitions inside the dressing room, inside the football club, will stay there, but we just want to be as successful as we can. Be the best we can every day to day, in training, in games, give you maximum, be the absolute best we can be, not set any long-term targets and goals, because then you build yourself up. But we know what our focus is and our positive vibe is going to be, and we're going to maintain that.
In terms of Colchester as opponents, do you view them as potential promotion-placed team, given their exploits last season? Yeah,
I certainly think. I've watched the game at Reading last week where they get beat 3-1 in the cup. They were 1-0 up right until half time. A second before half time, and performed really well. Looked dangerous. 3 fast attacking players up the top. And then I watched the game against Portsmouth the other night where they were holding their own until they lost a bit of a soft goal and got beat 2-0. So I've seen enough of them to know that what the threats are. Yes, obviously they got to playoff last season, changed the manager, brought some new faces in, as most clubs have. But I think it'll be an exciting game, because I think they'll be coming with the firepower they've got, to try to win the game. But it'll be a different game, I would imagine, to what Bolton was and to what Doncaster was. And we've just got to focus on ourselves, how we want to play the game. We've run through it again today, and we'll obviously emphasise the points tomorrow. But I think it's going to be a game where it could be end to end. It could be an open game, because we know how we want to start. And as I said, I think Colchester have performed well, even though they've had been knocked out. Well, not knocked out, but they've got 2 defeats in the cup games. They'll be happy with the performance, I'm sure of that.
Good luck for Saturday, Stuart. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
You talk about having seen Colchester, the cup game last Saturday. Presumably, most of your scouting on opposition is now done by technology rather than actually at games.
Yeah, it has been, but we've now managed to get somebody on a part-time basis to go cover a game for us, and we've got one of our staff that'll cover a game. So we got, for example, the other night we got Lincoln watched. We didn't have anyone to go that far down to Portsmouth. We couldn't have been that unfair sending somebody to Portsmouth. Sorry, Simon. So we never had any watching Colchester game. But as you said, I've watched the game this morning on the iPad, and we know plenty about them, that's for sure.
And just going back to COVID restrictions and the like, has what's happened with England, has that been sort of, not necessarily a wake-up call, but a reminder to young players that they do have to abide by the rules?
Yeah, I think everybody from outside football, inside football, were quite surprised, disappointed really in what happened. I'm sure the boys are themselves. It's something they'll be embarrassed about for a long, long time. But yeah, I mean, anything that flags up like that is a reminder and a wake-up call to everyone. It's not a difficulty, to stick to what you're asked to do. You can still enjoy yourself off the park without breaking rules. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I think things like that happen, and it comes into the public eye. Then it is a wake-up call for everyone just to adhere to the rules, as we say.
And staying with international football, have you been pleasantly surprised by how well Scotland have done over the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think, they're on a hiding to nothing in the second game against the Czech Republic, because obviously they had almost, 12 or 13 debutants because they got caught up with the COVID themselves and they had to play an entirely new squad. So anything other than a Scotland victory would have been seen north of the border as a disaster, really. So they got the job done. They're on a hiding to nothing, as I said, because they were expected to win. And even in the game previously against Israel, they did okay. So I think there's more to come from them. I think they looked aside. They've got better players now. There's a lot more players playing in the English Premier League and playing top level football, and which augurs well for the future. We've got 2 or 3 really good players. I think it's a long, long time since Scotland had world class players, but we've got competitive players, and hopefully in the coming campaign they can go on and do well.
Thanks, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thank you.
Stuart, obviously talking about the waiting to get fans back. I see the Cambridge Carlisle game's now been told it will be behind closed doors.
Oh.
They announced that about an hour ago. So it's a setback in terms of hoping it. By the beginning of October there might be some joy on that.
And who says you don't have your finger on the pulse, Simon? There you go. You've just brought me the first bit of disappointing news today. That's a shame. Yeah, so that is a little setback. How things have looked to be panning out for the future. It was looking positive, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, I know. Every club have sold season tickets. And we'll have to have a look at how that goes about in the future. But I know a lot of people have been happy with it. Certainly, the people I know have been happy with the iFollow coverage, and that's been good. But yeah, hopefully it's only a little step back. And in the coming weeks, if we can get back on top of the pandemic or the rise in the COVID people that have got it, then we can start getting back people in. But that's a little bit disappointing, that.
And in terms of, obviously, we were saying the other night about getting used to Valley Parade empty. I mean, when the players are out there, do you think they can sort of switch off the fact that there's obviously there's not that noise and just sort of play the pitch perhaps rather than the stadium?
Yeah, I think, listen, I go back to my first season here in my second spell when we were undefeated all season, and the backing, it was 12 man. That's all well and good when things are going well, which is brilliant. You always want to play at home, but likewise the expectations sometimes 14,000-15,000 if things aren't going well. That's a test of your character sometimes. And I know obviously the disappointing seasons after where the club got relegated, I think it was hard speaking to people that were here at the time, it was difficult playing because they were disappointing the players obviously week in, week out with the performances. But so again, it is what it is. Would we of course we'd love 15,000-16,000 people roaring us on, because we've got a way that we want to play, and I'm sure with supporters behind us, we've been really at it, which we are going to be anyway. But listen, we deal with it for now, but I think we're all in the same mindset that sooner we can get fans back into the ground, especially at our place where they can make a massive difference, and we'll look forward to that.
And obviously it seems to be a very different league this year. I mean, obviously Colchester have got Steve Ball, new manager. There's quite a few sort of newish managers in this league, aren't there? And there's quite a lot of teams that have had quite a big turnaround. So it's probably a difficult league to forecast, isn't it? Because it looks very sort of almost untested.
Yeah, true. Yeah, young and up and coming managers. Some teams have got in who are hungry and desperate to do well. Naturally, that don't mean to say the old codgers like myself are not hungry and desperate to do well. Couldn't be further from the truth on that one. But Yeah, and as you say, the squads, we're looking at the squads, the changes to certain teams. But I think if you recently, a couple of clubs have started bringing more players. Obviously, Grimsby had to bring a lot in. They've done that a lot recently. There's a few other clubs are bringing people in. And between now and the window closing, there will be additions to squads. There's no doubt about that. And likewise with ours. But it's sometimes when you look at players, and I don't know, certain people that have been brought in, then you can still go on your iPads and look at the previous clubs and how they're playing, etc., etc. I mean, look at Bolton last week. How many debutants, a full team with debutants, but obviously we know the people that played against us before, your Sarceviches and Yali Crawfords, we know them. But as you say, it's hard to judge at the moment what sides are going to be up there. I mean, I think for me, you like your Salfords and certainly Bolton, them two come to mind as really strong favourites to be right up there with the recruitment they've done. But again, there's always surprises, but we'll just focus on ourselves, happy where things are going at the moment, lots of room for improvement, but we're on the right lines.
And in terms of going into the first game, I mean, the natural excitement of it all starting, are you as sort of, G'd up for it as you would be if it was perhaps in normal circumstances?
Yeah, yes. I know. I take your point, but no, we're all ready for it. We've been waiting. What was it, 5-6 months, whatever it is for it, and as I said to you maybe 6 weeks ago, we were just desperate to get into pre-season, desperate to get on the training ground. Now we're desperate to get his first league match underway. So the excitement, the desire, the commitment from everyone at the club. And that's not just the playing staff and the players, it's everyone surrounded at the club who are working ever so hard to get the games on, to be thorough in what we do, behind the scenes. As I said, we've got a tight-knit unit on the coaching staff, we've got a tight-knit unit back at the ground, but everyone gives full commitment to the club, and everyone's working hard, and hopefully, as I say, hard work can pay off.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City!